I do a lot of spirituality, metaphysics. I answer questions about, I answer questions about sort of spiritual stuff, metaphysical stuff. I specialize in human energy and how energy in the form of emotions can do things with our mind and body. So I hop on, I do lives every so often when I feel I have like a little bit of an extra energy, and answer people's questions about what might be going on with their body. So sometimes when we have physical stuff going on or mental stuff, it's not a medical doctor, it's not a therapist. It would be the lane that I'm in now. What I do full time for work is show people how emotions become and manifest into physical things, and then how we can move them through the body using more metaphysical modalities rather than traditional, let's say, medical or therapeutic, psychological, psychotherapeutic modalities. So if anyone has any questions about spirituality, metaphysics, how they can impact the body and the mind, I only specialize in human energy. So pets are not my thing. Earth is not my thing. Connecting with your deceased ancestors, your loved ones, not my thing. Although I can raise your vibration and show you how to connect with them directly. So I can open up metaphysical gifts, unlock them, and I can amplify energy, which is what I'm really, really good at, is amplifying your energy so that you can see who you are in a more expanded sense. So when I say expanded, it's like, mathematically, if we look at length, width, height, 3D, 4D would be length, width, height, time. We get to play with time on our timeline, move forward and backward on the timeline. And then fifth dimension would be length, width, height, time, location. We get to play, that's sort of the astral travel, and we get to do some things that bend reality and do some things. Thanks, Sarah. So if there's anyone that has any questions, or I want to stay with just questions tonight. What I found was that I was coming on doing lives and doing some really wild, to my audience who are new to me, healing sessions, but it wasn't fair for my paying clients. So I did switch over, and I have on my website now. So if you go into the bio, there's a section for TikTok for tips, donations, whatever that may be, where I can do healing type of energy here. But I want to be fair with my paying clients who are paying. They're subscribing to a 6-hour commitment, and I do it full time. But I want to be able to introduce this to other people and still be fair to my clients. So if you are familiar with what I do and you know the quality of work that I can do with energy, you can absolutely reserve time, and you get 15 minutes for free on my website. So if you just want one-on-one for no charge, you can go on the website. Can you reverse time? Elaborate on that question, because that can, in my world, can be perceived very, very differently. Like reverse time, like how Doctor Strange reverses the apple in the movie, or like go back in time to change an outcome. So let's go back, Lizzie, to reversing time. What does that mean? What does it mean for you? Oh, to go back and change the outcome. No, you can't change the outcome without disrupting other things. What we can do is, at least not your fractal, if we try to go back and change time, okay, so I'm going to bring it down to more, a little bit more elementary, because can we reverse time? Yes, but that's a sixth dimension function, and I don't have those tools in my toolbox. And that's not my purpose in life. My purpose is to show people how to use their own energetic tools in their toolbox. And you can't be like an Olympic gold swimmer and the Olympic coach at the same time. You're one or the other. You can't focus on being the coach to help people move forward and strive for greater things, and be the one striving at the same time. So I am more of a coach role to show people how to use their own energy. There are other people that I work with, that Quantum Corey, one of the guys that I work with, he can do it, but I don't know how to teach him that because it's a sixth dimension function and I don't have those tools. So, but what we could do is, instead of going back and changing the outcome, we can go back in time and change that fractal's outcome. So like Lizzie, for instance, how old were you when that incident occurred that you want to go back and change? Okay, so let's say a few weeks ago, if we were to go back and change the outcome for that fractal is now on a different trajectory than the fractal that you represent right now. We would be altering the the we would be altering the timeline, but not in a three-dimensional sense. In a three-dimensional sense, it's very linear. We would be altering it in the fourth and fifth, but you wouldn't be the one to experience that. Your fractal would. So is it possible? Yes. Is it within my scope of capability? No. No. But what we could do, let's say emotional. So if you can you elaborate a little bit more about what that is? And while you're typing, I'll explain what some of the scenarios are. We can go back and um, connect with that person, the version of you that existed 3 days ago. Here's what I would suggest. So what I can do is raise vibration. And this wouldn't be something we would do in a 15-minute live TikTok. This would take about a 2-hour journey because we have to acclimate your body up to some higher frequencies. When we bring you up, you would be able to connect with that person. And when you connect with the essence, the energy of the loved one or the person that you could have saved, you'd be able to hear the truth from a more universal perspective, not from a three-dimensional perspective. And what I have found in my experiences with clients taking them back, so like spouses whose partners had committed suicide or died in tragic accidents, and we go back and we speak to the soul of that person, we get very different information. And I'm not the one translating. It's not coming through me like a medium to you. It's me raising your vibration so you connect directly to that individual, because that's a cleaner channel. And then to have a tour guide behind sort of guiding you on the questions. You may find that there's nothing you could have done. There would have been zero that you could have done. And that's very likely a possibility, a high possibility. But we wouldn't know until we spoke with that entity directly to know what, if it was karmic, if it was just time, if whatever that may be. So I want to caution you not to think that you had the power within you and you didn't use it. Be careful how you set those thoughts in your mind, because you can send yourself into a very crazy loop thinking you could have changed something when sometimes it was already set long before we were born. So have I connected with my higher self? Oh my God, I'm way past that. Yeah. I've connected with my higher self. I've connected across the multiverse. I've connected to that's how I get many of my tools. Some of my tools a few years ago, I would go to the other versions of me in the multiverse and be like, hey, what tools do you have? And they would show me the tools that they have, like metaphysical. I mean, these are metaphysical tools, so capabilities, modalities. And they would show me what they were doing, and then I would have them show me how to use their modality, and they would bring it into this reality. My higher self is just, I'm tapped in. If I were to do a group healing for the audience that's on right now, you would feel that I vibrate pretty high normally, so I connect with my higher self very quickly, very easily, in addition to like other things that exist in the fourth and fifth reality. How can you know the purpose that you played in all of it then? I'm going to lean on the answers that I have because of the tools that I have in my toolbox, and I would say that you can, if I were to raise your vibration and bring you to a place of, let's see, how many followers do you have? None. Okay. If I were to raise your vibration, it would take about an hour. It takes me about a half an hour to get you in. No induction, no hypnosis. It's just the energy has to roll up, it has to warm up in your body. So once we get you raised up, then I can take you to the campus, which is, if you follow me, it's a like a mystery school where many entities exist, and they can meet us there very quickly without having to travel to other places that take longer and require a hypnotic induction. So if I were to take you there, you would just connect with that. We would call in that essence of that individual and speak to them. Or we would speak to a spokesperson, like a spirit guide that would speak on behalf of them, for them. And we would be able to connect that way. And you'd be able to speak to them directly and ask the questions that are important to you. Pisces, Sun, Scorpio, Moon. I have no idea. Translate that for me. I don't do astrology. But for those that are on, I'm not charging. I was historically just doing some free healing, and then it was not fair to my paying clients. So I'm not going to be doing, oh, thank you, Missy. I'm not going to be doing free one-on-one healings, but if the group gets a little bit bigger, if we get about 10 people in, I can do a group healing or group energy so that it's still fair to my clients that are paying. How long have I been doing this? I've been doing this as a business for about 3 years. It'll be 3 years in March. 3 years, yeah. March, April, roughly. But it's progressive. It started out as just intuitive coaching, and then intuitive coaching turned into me being able to scan people's bodies like an MRI. That turned into me being able to scan the biofield outside of the body, which then turned into me being able to recode the different layers in the external energy system, which turned into me being able to take people to the campus to do some really wild fucking crazy ass shit that, is Dolores Cannon stuff. So progressively, I've been doing this for a few years. I don't know. I'm Leo, Sun. I would have to look it up because I would be guessing for the rest of it. Definitely Leo. I was born in August. Yeah. So I'm just gonna tap in. Um, we've got about 5 people. I want to get about 10 people before I do a group. So if you're all okay, sort of bringing in some folks, if I get about 10 people in, I'll do a group, but I want to have a little bit more because what ends up happening is when it's a small group, I start picking individuals and then targeting that, and that's not fair. Like, I want to be really fair to my clients, and I was not being fair before. So, do I have any advice in stopping the popping in your ears for the throat chakra? Is it one ear specifically or both? Okay. It's popping? Let's take a look. Um, if you want, it's $25 for like 15-20 minutes. I can open your energy lines on TikTok. I can do a demo, and we can go into your ears and take a look at what's going on. But I don't. I'm being really cautious right now of mindful, not cautious, mindful of my paying clients. So if you want, you can go in. There's like Venmo, Cash App on my website, and then we can do a 20-minute open session, and I can go in and move that energy for you to find out what's going on with your throat. That throat chakra is something that's probably one of the most common. That is the most common chakra that I work with. Can I see your energy? Yeah, I can see anyone's energy. I can tap in your energy right now if you don't need to have one-on-one. I do blind reads on like Facebook with very cynical physicist wannabe people where I don't even see a picture or their real name. I can do it in Clubhouse. So I can open the energy anywhere, but if I'm going to open your energy specifically to give you a specific reading, I want to be, again, mindful of my clients. Yeah, I can raise up the group. We've got about 10 in here now, so I can raise up and just do an open reading. I mean, energy movement. So for those that are sensitive, you'll definitely feel it. And no, do I read it from the names? No, I don't have any interest in. It's not the names; it's the intention behind the energy that you represent that I can tap into. So, like with Facebook or Clubhouse, I may not have a real name. I may not have a photo of a person. It might be someone's dog. I can still connect with them. I can connect to people by proxy. So you might say like, "Oh, my spouse is not having is struggling through something." Through I can by proxy the energy through the spouse. I'm not going to do psychic predictions for relationships, so I can see like the one about moving. What I can tell you is I can open your energy lines so that you can ask those questions yourself. And that's more empowering than me giving you the answer. I'd rather you understand how to get it yourself. Can I do a session? I can do a session with anybody. If you want to go on my website, it's 15 minutes for free, personal one-on-one. But if you want to do package, obviously that's different. I can read anybody, I can see anything, but can I see you're a little bit skeptical? Well, how about this? Let me move some energy for the whole group. We've got more than 10, which is what I wanted. I'll move the energy for the whole group and let's see what we get as a collective group. All right, so I'm going to open up the whole group. Ooh, hang on. We've got a lot of energy right here. So guilt, shame. Okay, so we've got a lot of energy. So I'm going to keep everything as happy girl. Let me answer that for you in a very interesting way. The darkness isn't attacking you. The energy that you have, that you're vibrating at, the darkness is meeting you at that level. And I'll explain what that means. If you are a dim lighthouse and you're not shining very bright, there's a lot more room for shadows. If you learn to strengthen your inner core and you start shining like a lighthouse is meant to shine, there's no room for shadows. And I say that very vaguely that, let me move some energy. Ooh, y'all feel that? Ooh, okay. So music inside of me, yeah, chances are if you can feel my energy, let me move some energy. I'm going to crank it up a little bit for the whole group. There's 12, so I'll just crank it up. And if you have things that you want to heal, this is general energy. You can just tap into the general energy. And then if you need something more specific, we can talk about that after. So I'm just staying with very group coaching energy. So I can feel the folks that are having difficulty breathing because of stress, trauma, from not being able to speak their truth, like having to swallow it. There's a lot of these. Yeah, not hurt. Your back not hurting is not unusual. That's very common in the energy movement. And what I'm doing is just very general. It's like very common energy movement that just gets the body, the internal system, the electrical system inside moving a little bit better. So there's a lot of folks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that have about 5 of you that have throat, chest, anxiety, tension here. I'm going to focus on that first as the group. Feeling a little weird is not unusual. The energy hasn't been moved in a while, so it's like when you have like someone sitting on your chest and then you try to breathe and then someone comes off of your chest and you can breathe better. It's the same when the energy lines are getting flushed. That'll happen too. No? Okay. Left. A lot of masculine energy in this group. Okay. All right, who's got the left shoulder pain? Someone's got a left shoulder pain. Okay. There's the heat. It's like stiff. Okay. So I'm going to go, this is general because I'm already here. I'm just going to do this a little bit stronger so it comes into the shoulders. Oh my gosh, so many of you. Okay. So Then this is collective, this is group, so let's stay with that. If you get lightheaded, just open your eyes and step back. If not, keep eyes closed. You don't have to worry about what's commenting. I'll keep my eyes open and let you know what's happening. Close your eyes and just let the energy flow through your body. And if you can stand, let the energy flow through your feet. If you are sitting in a way where you can put your butt down, move it down. Let it just move down through the earth. So if you get lightheaded at all, just step back and open your eyes, and that'll slow everything way down. If you get dizzy, put your hands above your head, open your eyes, physically step back. $19, $18. We're gonna get I'm going to move some energy a little bit faster. If it feels like it's blocking, oh, my phone's dropping. If you feel something coming up, I want you to just do a heavy theatrical cough, like super funky, loud. That'll help the energy move out of your system. If there's a lot in there, and as I'm moving, it'll be like plunging a toilet. It's going to want to move fast. Oh, there you go. Who had a reaction to their throat? I moved that energy up the digestive tract, and I could feel it like all right, so moving the energy now. If you feel that, cough hard, and that'll help move the shit out. Yeah, that's compressed. There's collectively, that's a few of you. All right, so now, ooh, all right, hang on. Knees, collectively knees. Right knee specifically. There's a lot of energy going, as the collective group, there's a lot of heat going into the knee zone. So if you have any injuries with your knees, any arthritis, resistance, locking, let's move that energy out as a group. So I'm doing the right knee first. I'm going into the right knee zone. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Okay, so for those that are in this, so those that are now coming in new, I'm doing some energy movement. If you want to participate, just close your eyes. Don't worry about anything. If there's something that's important, I'll speak it for you. But I'm going into the right knee right now. And I'm just moving some energy up and down that right leg, because there's about 5, 6, 7, oh wow, almost half have some blocks in their knees. And this is about movement forward. This is resistance and moving forward is going to be, for the most part, the right knee, unless you are left-handed, left dominant, then it's going to switch. But there's some resistance going on here with movement forward. So this is where we see people that are afraid to step forward, or afraid of the power they have within them, or whatever that may be. Is there's this resistance to moving forward because of fear of the unknown, things like that. All right, so Winter Wonder, just switch. If whatever I'm saying is probably going to be the opposite for you, your left leg may be the dominant forward movement, and the right may be the feminine, nurturing. So just switch that out if you're left hand dominant. Feel that that's anxiety. So anxiety, folks, there's some shifting with the folks coming in that we've got some anxiety hitting. So I'm doing the right knee right now. If this doesn't, if you don't have any issues with your right knee, you can still tap into that energy, because it'll strengthen and emphasize the strength in that zone. And then we're going to move over to the left. So for those that are left hand, I'm moving the energy in the left. So what I'm saying is going to relate to the right. So the left for right hand dominant is more of the feminine, typically, and that's not necessarily always. Catch some of the comments. Let your light shine. Why would you not let your light shine? If you are not letting your light shine, you are shrinking, and you are playing small. And nowhere in any book did playing small help the universe. So this is either the past. This can be nurturing. This is like the feminine. The left leg can relate to a lot of things, but it is assuming it's the non-dominant side of your body. If it's the dominant side, then it is the movement forward in the masculine. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of circular energy going as the group. So I'm going to switch over. I'm coming up here because there's a lot of folks in this. There's 12 that I can see, but I don't know how many I can't see. Collectively, those that are watching, there's energy in the right side of the chest that has to do with anxiety. I'm going to try and break that up, and I'm going to pulse into it. So I'm just pulsing like someone tapping the like button on the screen, like, which, by the way, I have no problem if you want to bring up a couple thousand. Just by tapping on the screen, it'll do likes. We're going to do this right here on the right side of the body, and I'm just going to pulse energy through to break up some of that blockage. Ooh, I'm doing both sides now. There's like half. So imagine someone's just tapping you, and I'm just going inside your body, and I'm pulsing to get the energy, have that vibration increase so that the energy releases. Thank you for the roses, by the way. And this can help. This is a very simple, very low-key way to help with anxiety. It's very much like emotion freedom technique, the tapping. It's going to help release the energy from the inside through. And I'm going back into the right side of that chest area to target that. And what it's going to do is act like wavelengths pushing from the center out to release some of that block. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the left side, and I'm going to do the same thing. Except this time I'm shrinking it, and we're curling it. Collectively as a group, the left side has less stress on it, so I'm just going to take that and shrink that through. All right. So music girl, you just had pain in your left ear. Was it pain? Was it a ping, or was it a pop? Because they're going to have different energies going to move through the body and exit through an orifice differently. A ping. Okay, ping is good. So let's see if we can repeat that ping. I'm going to move the energy collectively for the group in this zone here, and let's see if we can get that energy to ping again, because pinging is a good sign. That's like, think of it like when your computer boots back up and you hear that the operating system start running, and you hear like ding or whatever noise your computer may do. You may have just released things that let the upgrades come in. Okay, who's got like, as I was doing that for the group, and I'm staying very much minded in the group, I'm moving energy here to help with the ears to repeat that. And I can feel some people have like sore throat, sinus congestion. So that may help too, as I move the energy up for the collective. Ear crunching. Ear crunching. That's a good question. Give me some different words to describe that. I don't know what ear crunching. How else could you describe it? What other words could you use that would help me understand it? In the jaw. That doesn't surprise me. There's a lot of tension that's held in the mouth. And so the TMJ piece, let's go to that for a second. The TMJ can be tension, it can be frustration, it can be a couple different things. I would be focusing also on which teeth are impacted. So not the grinding of the teeth, but cavities or sensitivities will give more clues to what's going on with that. Do you grind your teeth? So with teeth, teeth relate to organs just as the spine does. If we understand, okay, clenching your jaw is tension, that's stress, and it's response. So yeah, Sherry, I bet you, Sherry, those are emotions trapped in your body, wreaking some havoc in there, and it's stuck and it's bouncing around and doing some funky stuff. It wouldn't surprise me that there's some stuff from 30s, your 30s, trauma from the 30s, ear crackly. Yeah, I without opening someone's energy line and taking a look, it's a little bit hard to guess from the outside. Can't clench jaw if you have no teeth, right? That's one way of doing it, or you could just remove the energy that's causing the stress. It's really whatever path you think is best for you. I personally want to keep all my bones, my teeth, and my organs. So that's personal choice, I guess. But energy gets stuck in the body. So think about, like, collectively as a group, I'm seeing 15 people. I don't know how many people are really on. I'm only seeing like the top. So think about, actually just right now, let's do a quick exercise with the group. Let's go through, teeth and organs are absolutely related. And the spine. Think of the spine as different filing cabinet drawers, and think of the teeth as different filing cabinet drawers. They're both going to respond to trauma differently. So if you notice, certain people that have certain back issues also have missing teeth that relate to that same organ, because it's the same energy lines. Think of it. I don't know what analogy I could use, but they're linked. So different teeth link to different organs, different vertebrae link to different organs. So if an organ is failing, there tends to be an issue with the back and the teeth as well that relate to that. Yeah. So let's do an exercise with everyone involving energy. And healthcare worker, nerve damage, neck, shoulder, spine, 2 right molars. There's some trauma in your body. So winter wonder, that's trauma in the body. And if you have neck, shoulder, spine issues, you probably have trauma in the bones. And we can move that trauma out. I wouldn't say permanent injuries, because I've seen some really miraculous, wild ass, unexplainable shit happen in my lane of expertise, and I've stopped saying anything is permanent, because I've seen people that have had back injuries that needed back surgery, and when you raise their vibration, the body can heal. And so I've stopped believing anything is permanent unless we wish it to be so. Now, that's not to say it's not a long road back to recovery, but I've definitely seen some things that I still can't even explain how it happened. So take a group, as the group, I want you to do an exercise that we're going to go through some different emotions, and I want you to just let me know where you feel them. So the first one, I want to go to anger, and just loop the word anger, like anger, 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 loop it, and see where in your body it goes. Where do you feel anger? And for those that clench their teeth, let me know which emotion goes into your jaw. Okay, right? So heart, right jaw. Now let's drop down to guilt. Guilt, guilt, guilt. Where does that go? Right? Cervical, stomach, right? So think about where your body has the most aches and pains as we're going through these different emotions. Drop it down to shame. Where does shame sit in your body? Loop the word shame, and it may be hard for you to loop it, and that's okay. Where does it go in your body? Brain, right? So how often do you get headaches? Move out. How often do you get headaches if you can feel it in your brain? Eyes. So winter wonder, how's your vision? Do you have any ocular issues? Yep. Okay, so now let's shift it. Let's go from low vibrating, let's go up to something like courage. Where does courage go in your body? Spine, brain. Now, when we look at courage, most of the things that cause us distress in our body and our brain and our mind, so the operating system, the consciousness, the hardware, the physical body, the software, the programming that runs through us, anytime we avoid something because of fear, we cause distress in our body. Now, I'm not saying like go jump off the cliff or go play with snakes or whatever that may be that would cause more harm, but it's the simple stuff like I'm afraid to do this, I'm afraid to be seen, I'm afraid to be embarrassed, I'm afraid, whatever those things are, the everyday things, whatever our wishes or desires are. When we're afraid to address those things, we create sort of a tracking system. The body will keep score. And when we switch that out, when we go from fear to courage, now courage, no one in a heroic space is courageous without fear, right? The you take fear away, and that's sort of recklessness. That's not courageous. Courage has to have a little bit of fear, and it's honoring the fear, but also having the bravery to do something with the fear. That's courage. So when we go up to courage, courage is going to run very differently in our body. Now let's switch up and just say the word neutral, like neutral, neutral, neutral. Where does that go? What happens in your body, and what's different from the other words that we've had? And it can be very neutral. Like my body just goes upright and there's no movement at all. What if we switch that from neutral to acceptance? What happens? And pay attention to your body. Is there any jolt when I say the word acceptance? Does anything jolt back like we don't want to accept or forgive? Nothing is good. Nothing's a good response. Relaxed is really good. Turn it up to grateful. Where does grateful go? So remember when we were kids, it would be like sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt us. Neuroscience, neuroplasticity says otherwise. It says that what we loop through our mind becomes our reality. And if we keep saying that we're a piece of shit and we're not worth it and we're not beautiful and we're not this, the mind's like, okay, order. She does not, he does not. And then it gets absorbed into the system, and then it gets executed over decades, but it gets executed like she does not want to live. She wants to hold on to anger, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's start shutting down the liver. We can't move the toxicity of anger out of the body. There's too much. So gratitude felt like shame. It felt like shame, or it was just in the same place as shame. Relative at best. The comment feels like the shame one for me. Is it in the same place, or does it vibrate the same? Because it should not vibrate at all. Gratitude and shame should not vibrate at all alike. They're very different frequencies. In the same place. Now, in the same place, absolutely. That's very, very, very realistic. if you are, say, a heart-centered person, and I'm just like picking that, if you're a heart-centered person, you're going to have multiple emotions come from the heart. Totally normal. So, and it feels comfortable. Okay. This is a good point. So let's go to gratitude. So, relative at best, go back. Let's do this exercise with the group again. Go back. Let's drop down, back down to courage. Go to courage. And then jump up to grateful. Courageous and then grateful. And see what's happening in the middle. Ask yourself what's happening that it's uncomfortable to be in a grateful state. Fear gives tension in the body. Fear should give everybody tension in the body. Fluffy Barbie, absolutely. Fear is very destructive. That creates our hell on earth. Yeah. So let's now, for those that are able to, now if you have a lot of anger in you, to feel love is going to be really difficult. It's going to be like butting heads energetically. There's too much going on at the lower vibration that to jump up is like trying to mix two things that don't go together, like ammonia and Clorox. It's going to be very counterproductive to do that. So if you feel like you're vibrating really good at neutral or courageous or courage, stay there. If grateful's too much, don't go to grateful. Stay right where you are as I go to the next words. If you can handle grateful and grateful vibrates well with you, that just means your body's ready to feel those emotions. If it doesn't, it may mean that there's just too much trauma in the body to even process what that would feel like, right? Like when you are going through something so like you lose a loved one and you're going through grief, to feel joy, just like the puzzle pieces can't fit. There's too much happening with the grief to even process joy. So we have to loosen one to be able to flourish the other, to bloom the other. So if you can go, let's go up now to love. And just let love flow through your body. And if love works well with you, okay, so Winter Wonder, Winter Wonder, there was nothing you could have done. Even if you did CPR, there's nothing you could have done. There's nothing you could have done. I'm not going into your energy system. I'm going into the client's energy. And there's nothing you could have done. You would be feeling the same thing right now if you did do CPR and it didn't work. You would have thought, I didn't do it enough. There's nothing you could have done. Warlock Princess, do I have the capability to predict future stuff? I do. I do it for businesses. I don't do it for people because the ethics of forecasting the future requires a lot of responsibility and a lot of clarification, and that's something I don't do for individuals. But if you had a business and you wanted to know if a merger was correct or an acquisition or something involving business because it impacts the economic development of a company and employees and things like that, then I would go into the future and share that. But I personally don't do future forecasting things. Okay, what's happening? So blame serves nobody. Winter Wonder, I see the comment about blame serves nobody. Blame resonates at 20 emotional hertz. Near death, hospice is at 22 to 26. The longer you're in blame, the more likely your body is to shut down. Blame weighs more than someone who's about to pass from this life. Blame is not going to help. Blame is not. If you want to see blame in its finest form, look at someone who is a deep substance abuse addict, where there's the emptiness in the eyes, there's no energy in their system. They look like they're the walking dead. That's what happens when you sit in blame for so long and not focus on the emotions behind the blame, the iceberg of emotions that fall with the blame. Yeah, yeah, I agree, music girl. It's not the process of moving through that experience is very complicated, and it's going to have its own waves of emotions as you go through as time passes. I was in the military. I deployed 5 years ago. What I can tell you is that grief is going to come in different ways for you, and doubt, but be very mindful of how shame sits in your body, because shame is very destructive on the body. And if you can move out of shame, if the faster you can move out of shame, the more powerful your system is to understand the universal truth, not your truth or other people's truths, because that's three-dimensional reality. Fifth dimensional reality has, think of it like an inverted triangle. In 3D, we have length, width, height. That's one Rubik's Cube, one cube. When we get into fourth dimension, it's a hypercube. It contains 8 Rubik's Cubes worth of information. It's a hypercube. When we get into fifth, it's 40. So when we go from 3D, like you and I are given one filing cabinet of data about us. When we hit fourth, we have 8 filing cabinets, and then fifth is 40. So there's so much more information to be shared and more wisdom, and you get to see things from a very zoomed up, zoomed out perspective when you go to those higher dimensions to see the world and the things that happen to us. And nowhere in any of those dimensions will they say you need to be sitting in shame. It's so stressful on the organs. So I ask that you not punish yourself in that way. Warlock Princess, Jules Midnight will be able to ask you about fertility. It's super hard. I just, from the ethics side of it, I don't work with individuals, because there's so many opportunities for me to misinterpret something, and I think ethically I find it to be more empowering for me to bring you to the space. Like if I were to bring you to the mystery school, the campus, quantum campus, and you meet your higher self, you meet your spirit team, whatever your beliefs contain, for you to meet them directly, you would even meet the soul of the incoming baby, which completely changes how you see very questionable or very like supercharged topics in our culture of like abortion and things. When you go to the fifth dimension and you can connect with those energies, the story of how you understand reality will change. So I ethically would rather raise your vibration and have you connect with your higher self and the soul of the incoming child directly and ask those questions than to interpret it through my own lens and experiences on what is going to be, what reality is for you. And I think I inherited my grandmother's gift, but it's hard to interpret. Now that's my lane. I am really good at opening the energy for people to understand their spiritual gifts and then teaching them, training them how to use those gifts. Totally in my lane. And this would totally be something that, like, why clients would come to me. It's either from medical, there's 2 tracks. Hey, I'm experiencing this medical or mental health thing, or emotion-based physical manifestation in my body. And then the other track is, hey, I've got some kind of gift. I don't know what to do with it. And I'm like, cool, I'll show you what to do with it. Let's see what it looks like from the higher vibrations. And then we're going to start practicing and mastering it. Totally in my lane. Okay, so Angela, Winter Wonder, your work-related injuries. If this was 2 years ago, And I'm now concerned that you're stuck in the past. I'm concerned that your body doesn't know what year it's living in, and is it having a premature aging in the body because you're caught in something from 2 years ago. And if you're caught in something from 2 years ago, that's going to disrupt your energy flow too, because you're not in the present moment. And the present moment is where we manifest. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's some financial struggles going on too, because you've sort of dissociated the energy from the body, and there's not an alignment to heal faster. That would be a big thing that I would pay attention to with your energy. Yeah, so Angela Winter Wonder, sixth sense, feeling frozen, that's fear. And that's something that you and I can work on. If you feel connected to me, we can work on that over the course of 3 sessions, 2 hours each, to really bring in an awareness of what that is and what you're supposed to do with that. Oh, great question. Would we age if there was no concept of time? That is a great question. And if there was no concept of time in the sense of like outside of 3 dimensions, because in 4th dimension, time is not linear, it bends. In 5th dimension, there really is no time. So you can sit, I can go to the campus and meet my 5-year-old self, my 25-year-old self, my 82-year-old self, the versions of me across the multiverse, and I can meet with me from other lifetimes all at the same time, because they're all happening at once at the 5th dimension. It's just when we shrink down, we have to limit the information we have, and time is one of those things that gets limited. Length, width, height, time is 4th. The 3rd dimension has no, time is linear now. It's not fluid. So would you age if there was no concept of time? No. And if you want to understand that better, I would check out the 20 and Back program. That might give you a different understanding of how time is a human construct. It exists in the 3-dimensional world. But that's going to get a little bit deeper. There was, but cleared. I was just 25K in debt, paid off. I have savings now. Okay. Yeah, okay. I feel like I have such a bright light that I attract broken. Oh, totally an empath. Totally an empath. Yeah, you do end up broken. This is super common with empaths, especially sensitive empaths that have experienced trauma in their childhood, because they didn't get to learn how to use those tools properly. So, and absolutely being a bright light, and I suspect you had to be a bright light for your parents. You had to be the one that adjusted your emotions to fit their needs, would be a suspicion, just based on how the sentence is written, that would fit. Yeah, and Lizzie Ann, if you have an interest in understanding who you are, I can show you how to use those tools very differently, and to strengthen the boundaries, the energetic field around you. So, and this is for everybody, take your hand to your chest and leave your hand on your chest for a second. Doesn't matter which hand. I'm going to boost energy through the group as a whole group thing. I'm going to pulse it, and then I want you to pull your hand away slowly. So I want you to take your hand and lift it until you feel a little magnetic bounce. Then pull it away until you feel another magnetic bounce, and another. It may not work the first time, and if it doesn't, I'll pulse the energy again to strengthen you. What we want to do, and you may feel your emotions or your body in the same way the words, when we were moving guilt and shame and love and gratitude, you may feel that same sort of jolt in your body when you move your hand from your body out to your first energy layer, to the second, to the third, to the fourth. So, Lizzie Ann, what I suspect is that you were already not properly mended from childhood, that the boundaries were broken, rips, tears, and leaks in the biofield, the energy field. So, yes, you're attracting, but think of it like moths are not meaning to die by going to the light. They're just attracted to the light, and that's a consequence of it. People are attracted to you and you're the one being impacted by that attraction because the boundaries need to be stronger and healthier and managed differently. So managing that energy is going to change what to stop broken people being attracted to you is what you really want. I mean, that's at least that's what I would think you would want based on how you were writing it. And that's just understanding energy in a greater way. Fluffy Barbie, stuck in flight or fight. Any suggestions? Yes. So when we understand fear responses to fear and stress, high stress, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, tend and befriend. When you understand that fight or flight, that your internal system is stuck in a loop. We need you to step out of that space to mend it from the outside and then come back in. So say the phrase, so Fluffy Barbie, and everyone in the room can do this, everyone on the live, say the phrase, I am whole, and tell me what happens in your body when you say, I am whole. Okay, you feel a sensation. Good. What I'm suspecting, based on the question, the fight or flight, is that you're stuck in a trauma loop. Like whatever trauma occurred, your system got stuck, and now it's affecting your internal system. Your mind, body, spirit, human computer system has some portion of it stuck in the past to a past event, and now every time something similar occurs, that energy gets flooded. So the different fight or flight. Say the word I am safe, or say the phrase I am safe, Fluffy Barbie. I am safe, and what happens? And while you're doing that, so Angela Winter Wonder, I have clients in 13 or 14 countries right now. I have clients in Canada. I do things through Zoom. So if you ever want to work together, it would be through Zoom. And I have, clients as far away as Australia. In I think I'm at 13 or 14 countries now. And what I suspect is that it's the impact of emotions on your body that's affecting the overall system. So I see people as human computer systems, not as like a organic species on Earth. I see more like hardware, operating system, and then the software, and then viruses that get in. So I'm translating a lot. What do I think about magic? Oh, I don't know that I have an opinion on magic. Dark magic, white magic. I think it's about the intention that we have behind it. The intention will dictate the outcome. And whatever tools you have available to you, I would judge the intention and not the tool. Like I can cause blunt force trauma with a hammer, and I can also build a house with a hammer. It's not the tool, it's the intention behind it. It worked. Feel it in left hand. Oh, good, good. Okay. So that's our starting point is we need to get you back in your body first. And then after you're back in your body, let's get you calibrated so that you're running your energy properly. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do sadness, Lizzie Ann. Yeah, sadness. Relative at best, childhood traumas playing on a loop in my life. Absolutely. Now with your husband, now the healing. So Jen is here. Lizzie Ann, when you say you're whole, it makes you sad. That's your right there. Right there is your starting point. That's what we need to work on, is getting you to have more love, self-love. And this is you can do it through psychology or you can do it through metaphysics. Two different roads to get you where you're going.